Often we feel that December 31st has a strange kind of weight. Not entirely happiness, not entirely sadness. As the seconds on the clock approach zero, our hearts feel something left behind. Perhaps you've noticed it too. The way New Year's Eve makes us feel a little lighter, like the mind is quietly whispering, "Let's try again, just this once." Why New Year isn't just a date. Truth is, New Year doesn't automatically change anything. Problems don't vanish on their own. Life doesn't suddenly become perfect. So why do we give this day so much meaning? Psychology suggests that humans naturally divide time into sections. We say things like, "That was a different time in my life," or "Last year, I was someone else." New Year becomes a mental boundary. On one side, we leave our mistakes behind, and on the other, we place our hope. The idea of a fresh start. Often we feel like we aren't worthless, we're just tired. The most powerful thing about New Year is that it gives our brain a sense of a fresh start, even if it's only an illusion, and that illusion isn't necessarily bad. Sometimes, all a person needs to move forward is the thought, "Not everything is over yet." The truth about resolutions. Maybe you've said it every year. "This year I'll change. This year I'll be stronger. This year I'll take control." And a few weeks later, things are mostly the same. That doesn't mean you're weak. In reality, New Year resolutions are rarely plans. They are confessions. Confessions that say, "I'm tired. I'm not entirely happy with myself. I want to feel better." A simple, everyday example. Imagine an ordinary man. Let's call him Michael. Michael spent the whole year working. Office, home, responsibilities. He often pushed his own happiness aside. On the night of December 31st, when he sits alone for a moment, he doesn't just think of goals. He thinks about the dinners he missed, the phone calls he didn't make, the conversations he avoided. And when the clock strikes 12, Michael doesn't expect a miracle. He only quietly thinks, maybe the next year will feel a little lighter. The small hope, the pause, the reflection. This is the real psychology of New Year. Countdown and collective emotion. When we hear the countdown, 10, 9, we aren't just counting numbers. We are seeking connection. Humans' brains respond strongly to collective emotion. When everyone is cheering together, even a little loneliness feels less heavy. That's why fireworks, music, and voices all around us exist. They tell our brains, "You are not alone." The weight of the past year. Often we feel that the old year doesn't just leave memories behind. It leaves fatigue, regrets, unfulfilled promises, people who are no longer around. New Year doesn't erase them, but it allows us to set them aside for a while, to breathe and to look forward. New Year and guilt. Many of us feel guilt at New Year too. Why didn't I do that? Why wasn't I better? This guilt comes from comparing ourselves against a timeline. When we measure our lives by the calendar, we often ignore how much we've actually grown. The silence of January. January is often quiet. Fireworks are gone. Resolutions fade. Real life returns. And here lies the real test of New Year's magic. When no one is watching, when there's no countdown, when it's just you and your thoughts, what do you feel? Expectation versus reality. Maybe you've noticed, after New Year, a little melancholy can creep in. This is called the post-holiday emotional drop. It doesn't mean you're ungrateful. It means the gap between expectation and reality is showing. What psychology teaches us. New Year doesn't teach us to change everything. It simply reminds us, be gentle with yourself. Life doesn't move in a straight line. Sometimes forward, sometimes back. And that's okay. A thoughtful reflection. Often we feel that the hardest thing isn't changing. It's pausing. Pausing to ask ourselves, why am I so tired? What am I running from? New Year gives us that pause. A chance to ask questions without pressure. Soft ending. Perhaps New Year is not magic. Perhaps it's simply a reminder. Time moves on, and so do we. Even if all we feel tonight is, I'm still here, that is enough. The calendar flips. Life moves slowly. And sometimes, moving slowly is the greatest progress of all.